This final day of a weekend in April. We're going to be in May here before too long. The Golden Eagles looking for the sweep today over the Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodons, as ORU has taken games 1 and 2 of the series by run rule. And the Golden Eagles making up a game on first place yesterday, as well as South Dakota State was able to knock off Omaha. So Oral Roberts now 5 games back of the Mavericks with 10 games to go. So another win today and another potential South Dakota State game, state win could get the Golden Eagles as close as 4 games with 9 games to go. And, of course, a series with Omaha still looming to wrap up the regular season. All right, we're about to get underway here. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Golden Eagles today. As pitch number 1 is delivered just low and outside to Jake McMurray. McMurray leading off and playing third base today. Hunter Wilson will hit second and play second. Spencer Henson batting third and playing first base. Isaac Coffey will pitch and DH and hit fourth today as McMurray fouls one off over the right side, evening the count at 1-1. Blake Hall will hit fifth and play center field. Andrew Pace hitting sixth and playing left. Drew Lowe will hit seventh and play right field. Riley Kaiser batting eighth and catching, and Anthony Martinez hitting ninth and playing shortstop today. Again, that's McMurray, Wilson, Henson, Coffey, Hall, Pace, Lowe, Kaiser, Martinez, as ball 2 misses low and away to Jake McMurray. Golden Eagles with a 10-0 victory yesterday, although it was a very different offensive day. ORU with 17 hits to score 10 runs. And they did not draw as many walks as the day before. Only 3 walks issued by Purdue-Fort Wayne pitchers yesterday after 15 were issued on Friday. So a very different offensive game, but the Golden Eagles still able to drive in 10 runs in the contest. Jake McMurray himself, 2 for 4 with an RBI, a run scored, and a walk in yesterday's contest. McMurray grounds this one to the left side. One big hop for Stoner at third, and he fires across the diamond for out number 1. It is the first time that McMurray has failed to reach to start a game in this series. Let's give you the defense for Purdue-Fort Wayne today. Stewart behind the plate, up at first. Chapman at second. Yoho at short. Stoner at third. The Don outfield from left to right. Brunson, Dixon, and Young. And on the mound today for the start is Justin Miller. We've seen a couple of guys who haven't been usual starters this year for Purdue-Fort Wayne get starts this week as Miller winds through and misses inside in a lefty-lefty matchup to Hunter Wilson. Miller this year, a .993 ERA, a record of 0-4 in 11 appearances, including 4 starts. He's thrown 22 2/3 innings, allowed 18 hits, 29 runs, 25 of them earned, struck out 32 and walked 31. A .221 average against him as ball 2 is off the mark to Wilson. So he's walked 31 in 22 2/3 innings. He's also struck out 32, so he got some decent stuff, but hasn't been able to command it consistently. Ball 3 up high to Wilson. It's a 3-0 count. Nothing top of the first inning. ORU scored 9 in the first on Friday, just 1 in the first yesterday. Here's the 3-0 to Wilson. Got the outside corner for strike 1. Keeping a close eye on other games around the league today. Strike 2 is in there, a full count now to Cowboy. North Dakota State has actually wrapped up its series with Western Illinois. The Bison swept the doubleheader yesterday and took 2 of 3 in the series as Wilson fouls one back. So North Dakota State has actually tied things up for 4th with Western Illinois, as both of those teams now at 10 and 11 on the year in Summit League play. Ground ball chopped to the right side, foul territory, and the count again will remain full to Hunter Wilson. Nothing. 1 out, nobody on, top of the first. ORU comes into the day 21-18 on the year and 12-8 in Summit League play. 3 games ahead of the 2 teams in tied for 4th right now, and ORU tied for 2nd with South Dakota State. As Wilson chases one in the dirt, it's blocked by the catcher Stewart. He steps into fair territory and throws it down to first for out number 2. 2 down, nobody on for Spencer Henson.
First baseman number 14, Spencer Henson.
You mentioned ORU tied with South Dakota State. Right now, technically speaking, the Jackrabbits have the tiebreaker, but the last 3 weeks will prove to be a big opportunity for the Golden Eagles to cement their status in the league standings, with series at South Dakota State and Omaha, both upcoming still. The final home series of the year coming up next weekend against Western Illinois. Ball one is in the dirt to Henson. ORU hitters have worked a couple of deep counts so far on Justin Miller, but haven't been able to find a way on base yet. It's already 14 pitches from the lefty starter, and Miller gets a strike call on the outside corner. Evens the count at 1-1 to Henson. Justin Miller, a 5'9" freshman out of Roanoke, Indiana. The lefty delivers another swing and a miss. For strike two, it's a 2-2 count now to Henson. Henson trying to find a way to get somebody on base for Isaac Coffey here in the first inning. Nobody on, 2 outs. Scoreless in the first. Ball three is way up and away, and the count's full. Tough spot, but a big opportunity for the true freshman today on the mound for the Mastodons. ORU back to the gray jerseys and pants, navy blue hats, same that they wore on Friday. Black jerseys, white pants, black hats for the Dons today. 3-2 on its way. Henson held up and takes ball 4 in the dirt. So Spencer, who leads the team in walks with 30, is now up to 31 on the year. His on-base percentage is just shy of 500, hitting .349 at this point in the year. Henson came into the week hitting .327 in league play, and second in the league in batting average. Second behind only Parker Schmeckel. That has not been a high-scoring series in Omaha, but I'm not sure how Schmeckel has fared individually at the plate. Ball one is in the dirt to Isaac Coffey. The ball has been jumping off of Coffey's bat in the batting cage, but it hasn't translated to the field a whole lot this weekend as Henson digs himself a place to get some good footing over there along the first base line. And calling time to do so. Here's the 1-0. Coffey swings over the top of one, strike one. Coffey 0 for 3 with an RBI and a run on Friday. 2 for 5 yesterday with an RBI and 2 runs scored. 1-1. Outside corner, strike two. Miller has, for the most part, been around the strike zone a little more than 50% of the time here in this first inning. The 1-2, grounded to the left side, but foul. The wind blowing in from left field right now. We've seen about 5 different wind directions over the course of this 3-day series. More rain overnight last night that started just as we left the field. Intended to play a doubleheader yesterday. That ended up not happening, and as we got back to the hotel, not only was it raining, but it was darn cold, so that was probably the right call. Coffey takes ball 2 in the dirt. Henson, red ball in the dirt, takes off for second, and he's in safely on the wild pitch. Ball 2 to Coffey, and now runner in scoring position for him, and the Golden Eagles have a chance to manufacture a run out of this first inning yet. You can hear the wind gusting essentially straight into the microphone. Coming in from left. Here's a 2-2. Up and away, the ball gets away to the backstop. Actually sat on top of the rim there a couple of times, and you hear the catcher, Stewart, jump over into the warning track behind home plate there right in front of our microphone. Ball 3 to Isaac Coffey as Henson again advances on the wild pitch. He's now over at third, And a full count to Coffey. Miller has only allowed one base runner, but he's about to throw pitch number 25 here in the first inning. 3 consecutive batters have worked a full count against him, and McMurray got to a 2-2 count before grounding out to start the frame. Full count, 2 down. Coffey looking for the Golden Eagles' first hit of the day. Instead, he takes ball 4 away, and now runners on the corners. With 2 outs in the inning for Blake Hall. Sunny skies, a few clouds dotting the sky here and there, but otherwise, pretty nice day for baseball. Not too cool here in Fort Wayne. I wouldn't call it warm per se, but right now temperatures at around 50 degrees, expected to get up into the mid-50s over the course of this contest here. Early afternoon game on a Sunday here in the Eastern time zone. 2 on, ball 1 outside. Stewart about halfway dove out there to get it. It was way wide, and another ball getting by would likely result in a run scored for the Golden Eagles. Coffey on first, Henson on third. Henson, kind of that power hitter build, but he's quite athletic. Listed at 6'2", 235. Grew up in Locust Grove, went to Pryor High School. Ball 2 is away to Blake Hall. Hall may be as speedy as anybody on the team at the plate as he takes a curveball for a strike, making the count 2-1. Hall at 6 foot 195 out of Magnolia, Arkansas. Most recently went to Hill College, played at Southern Arkansas for a year before that, so he's played at the D2, JUCO, and now Division I levels, and is having success at the D1 level as he takes strike 2. To the tune of a .320 batting average. He's driven in 24 this year, and he's hit 7 home runs. Third most on the team, behind only Henson and McCutcheon. He was tied with McCutcheon until McCutcheon's grand slam the other day. This ball has hit well to right. Young going back on it over his left shoulder, and he makes a jogging grab, moving towards the right field corner for out number 3. So the Golden Eagles threaten, but can't score in the first for the first time in the series. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 left on. We'll give you the Fort Wayne lineup when we return in a moment. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.
Looking for a place for
Up will lead off and play first base as he has in both of the other games. Brandon Yoho in his usual spot, hitting second, playing shortstop. Alec Brunson will play left today and hit third. The DH Garrett Moeller batting cleanup. Trenton Stoner hitting fifth and playing third base.
Travis up.
Robert Young III will hit 6th and play right field. Aaron Chapman hitting 7th and playing second base. Jacob Dixon hitting 8th and playing center. And Dylan Stewart hitting 9th and catching today. Again, that's Up, Yoho, Brunson, Moeller, Stoner, Young, Chapman, Dixon, Stewart. For the 5-35, 0-20 in Summit League play, Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodon. Strike one is in there from Isaac Coffey to start things off. The defense behind Coffey today. Kaiser behind the plate. Hinson at first, Wilson at second, Martinez at short, and McMurray at third. The outfield left to right, Pace, Hall, and Drew Lowe. Ball one misses just low and away to even the count. Coffey making his 11th start of the season. In his 11th appearance as well. 39 2/3 innings pitched on the year. The 1-1 is swung through for strike two. A 1-2 record, 4.99 ERA for the freshman out of Goleta, California. In those 39 2/3 innings, 49 hits allowed, 26 runs, 22 of them earned, has struck out 34 and walked only 11. Foul ball back to the screen, keeps the count at 1-2. A .310 average against Coffey. Of the 49 hits he's allowed, 15 of them have gone for extra bases, including 6 home runs, second most allowed on the team. Here's the 1-2. Foul tipped into the mid of Kaiser for strike three. So Coffey starts things out with a strikeout today on 5 pitches, and that'll bring up Brandon Yoho with nobody on and 1 out.
Brandon Yoho.
Yoho, the open batting stance in the right-handed batter's box, takes a strike on the outside corner. Coffey has had a bit of an up and down year on the mound, but has been building back in the right direction in the last couple of weeks. Not particularly long outings as he delivers a strike, but pretty effective outings in his last couple of starts. Both last Sunday on the road in Fargo and also the previous Tuesday at home against Oklahoma. 0-2 count, 1 out, the pitch home. Breaking ball, tried to bring it in the front door, it stayed up and in. We'll have a second consecutive 1-2 count here. The 1-2, fouled back to the netting. Things pretty much playing out how they did in this first at bat. Cleanup hitter Garrett Moeller over to get the foul ball. And Yoho stands back in. Coffey threw his windup. This one's popped up in the air, shallow left center field. Back forward into the outfield grass and stepping through several puddles is Anthony Martinez, and he makes the catch. You can see the splashes from here.
Left fielder number 32, Alec Brunson.
That's 2 down in the inning, and it brings up Alec Brunson with nobody on. This field slopes down from the outfield wall towards the infield, and it resulted some puddles in the grass around the infield area. And we already saw a ton of rain on Thursday. They got over 1.5 inches of rain on Thursday as this ball is popped back out of play for strike one to Brunson. And it really hadn't dried out yet yesterday when we played game 2 of the series. Then more rain overnight has really formed some wet spots around the field as the 0-1 is swung through for strike two. For instance, from here I can see standing water over in front of the Fort Wayne dugout and in between the Fort Wayne on deck circle and home plate itself. Now, the infield itself I don't think is in bad shape because of the tarp. The outfield is still very wet. As a breaking ball is called, strike 3 to Alec Brunson. 2 strikeouts in the inning and a 1-2-3 frame for Isaac Coffey and the Golden Eagle defense. Just 13 pitches for Coffey in the first. And we head to the second in a scoreless ball game. 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for the Golden Eagles when we come back. This is ORU Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.
At Bill Knight Ford, we love supporting one of Tulsa's favorite teams.
Andrew Pace will lead off the top of the second inning for Oral Roberts. 0-0 as we go to the second frame. First time that's been the case in this series, although it was only 1-0 when we got to this point yesterday. And in fact, it was a 1-0 game into the third of yesterday's contest. Pace takes ball one to start things off. And Justin Miller threw 30 pitches in the first inning, but didn't allow a run to score. Strike one is called, and it's even at 1-1. "31 pitches in the first inning, excuse me. Here's a ground ball hit through the left side into left field for a base hit. Andrew Pace is on to lead off the inning.
Right fielder number 10.
And that will bring up Drew
Lowe.
Lowe. In the first inning, of the 5 batters that came to the plate, all of them saw at least 5 pitches. Pace needed only 3 to find his way down to first base. Here's the freshman out of Broken Arrow, Drew Lowe, in the right-handed batter's box. First pitch home to him, misses low and away. The defense for Purdue Fort Wayne all moving in bunt defense fashion, despite Drew Lowe never squaring to bunt on that pitch. Lowe this season hitting .226. This is his 13th start of the year. 12 hits and 53 at-bats, including 2 home runs. And of those 2, an inside the Parker in there as well. Ball 2 is low and in. Lowe does not have a sacrifice bunt on the year, so he hasn't been asked to do that a whole lot, but I'm also not sure how many situations he's come up with that, being a reasonable play. Here's the 2-0. It's up high on a curveball, and Lowe way ahead here, 3-0. Remember, Justin Miller came into this game having walked 31 batters in 22 2/3 innings. He walked 2 in the first, so you definitely want to make him pitch to you here. Obviously, in general, not just on the 3-0 count. Fastball down the middle, serves for strike one. And we'll see what Lowe can come up with here on the hitter's count. Runner on first in front of him is Andrew Pace, scoreless in the top of the second, no outs. The light breeze now switching to blow more from left to right field. 3-1. Swung through, and the count is full. Lowe steps back into the batter's box. Trying to get a look at when he last played here. It was actually, he got an at-bat on Friday as he takes ball 4 low. And Lowe wants down to first. That pushes Pace to second with no outs for Riley Kaiser, who's been absolutely crushing the ball. So Lowe last got a start last Saturday at North Dakota State. In game 2 of that series, went 1 for 4. Here comes Kaiser, who has absolutely pounded the ball in this series. He's now up to 233 on the year. But Kaiser went 3 for 4 with 7 RBI on Friday. Yesterday, 3 for 5 with 2 more RBI and another run scored. Comes up with a chance to do some damage with 2 on in front of him here. Squares to bunt and gets it down, straight back up the middle. They'll throw to third, but Pace is in, not in safely, as the bag came up out of the hole at third base. So Kaiser reaches on the fielder's choice. I kind of thought Pace beat that throw. It looks like we've got a equipment malfunction over there at third base. The bag popped up out of the holder there at third, and we're going to have to fix that before we get going again. So Kaiser got the bunt down, but hit it right back up the middle to Miller, the pitcher. And as a lefty, it's actually an easier throw for him to go that direction towards third. So the 1-5 fielder's choice retires Pace. Lowe is safe at second. Kaiser reaches on the fielder's choice. Now we're going to have a short pause here, and while bring you our pregame interview today with ORU starter yesterday, Matt Gaskins. So here in between these innings coming up, we'll go ahead and bring that to you. One out, two on, and a line drive hit back up the middle. Coming in on it is Dixon, and he makes the catch for out number 2 to retire Martinez. Decently hit by Martinez there, but the center fielder Dixon was playing a little bit in anyhow. 2 down, runner still on first and second. .42 pitches now from Justin Miller. Each of the last 2 batters have seen only 1 pitch, however. The pitch home, way outside, and it caroms off the glove of Stewart. That'll allow both runners to advance into scoring position. Stewart dove for that, but it was in the back of the left-handed batter's box. Ball 1 to McMurray. The wild pitch moves 2 into scoring position. With as many wild pitches as he's had, it's entirely possible for the Golden Eagles to score on a wild pitch here, but a base hit would likely bring in 2, with Kaiser going on contact at second base unless it's a ground ball hit in front of him. Here's the 1-0 in the dirt. Ball 2, blocked that time by Stewart. Hunter Wilson on deck. Spencer Henson would follow. If the Golden Eagles can work their way a little further into this inning. Trying to break a scoreless tie. Only 1 hit in the game so far. Top of the second, 2 down and 2 on for ORU. Ball 3 is up and away. .45 pitches now for Justin Miller as he peers in over his glove to get the sign. The 3-0 on its way to McMurray. It's up high for ball 4. So the bases are now loaded for Hunter Wilson.
24, Hunter Wilson.
That'll force him to pitch to Wilson, who's got the second best average on the team this season at .329. He's driven in 26 runs and a chance to add to that here. Lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch home. A strike at the knees. Wilson hitting .278 against lefties this year, coming into the weekend. 10 of 36. .350 against righties. He's 2 for 7 with the bases loaded this season. Grounds one to the right side, scooped up at second base by Chapman, and he flips it over to first for out number 3. So the Golden Eagles again threatened but can't score, loading the bases in the second. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 3 left. And it's 0-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. 4, 5, 6 hitters due up for Purdue Fort Wayne, Moeller, Stoner, Young. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.
At the Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center, we're proud to have been Tulsa's finest and most experienced
Action in the bottom of the second inning. 0-0 the score. Nobody on to start things off for Garrett Miller, the lefty, who takes ball one, and now strike one is called at the knees. Moeller in the DH role, leading the team in average at .293. After Friday, he was actually up above 300 on the year. Ball two makes the count 2-1. 0 for 3 in yesterday's contest. Here's the 2-1. Up and away. Isaac Coffey, 2 strikeouts, faced the minimum in inning number 1 in a 1-2-3 frame. And here's the 3-1. Popped foul behind home plate, left side. And the count runs full. If you're Coffey here, you want to continue to be aggressive, make them earn their way on base, even against the best average hitter here in Moeller, who takes ball 4 just outside. That actually was a pretty good pitch. A little more run on it than we needed for a strike there. But Moeller, nice job laying off of that, and we've seen that a lot. I'm not sure if the lefties are just picking it up that well, but we've had several attempts from right-handed pitchers to throw that two-seamer and let it run away from lefties in this series, and for the most part, the left-handed hitters have laid off of it. Runner on first, no outs for Trenton Stoner. First pitch in there for strike one. Stoner, a fairly vertical batting stance. Not a lot of crouch in there. Shin guard on his left leg as he waves the bat out in front of him. Pickoff move behind the runner, and Moeller's back in safely. Moeller got a good secondary lead on that last pitch. Perhaps that kind of put a bug in the ear of Coffey. The 0-1 is up high, and it evens the count at 1-1. Coffey working from the stretch from the first time today. Pickoff move, real close to getting Moeller over there at first, but he got back in just ahead of the Tad. A little slow progression here between pitches, and really in this at-bat as a whole, only 2 pitches so far to Trenton Stoner. Here's the 1-1. Offered at it. It was up and in. Stoner fouls it back. The count goes to 1-2. Coffey sits. Didn't even check the runner, throws home, and Stoner held back the check swing. The count is even at 2-2. Slider started low and away and broke further low and away. So Stoner never really had to think about offering it that one. 2-2 count, no outs, runner on first. A bit of a grind so far here in the bottom of the second inning. This fastball is popped foul out of play over the first base dugout. And the count remains 2-2. Moeller over on first has only attempted 1 stolen base this year. He was unsuccessful. So unlikely that we'll see him take off. And now with a 2-2 count, pretty unlikely that we would see a hit and run scenario put on as well. The 2-2 on its way. It's fouled off again over the first base dugout, very similar to the last pitch. And the count remains at 2-2. Mentioned ORU's remaining schedule. Home against Western Illinois next weekend, then at South Dakota State and at Omaha to round out the year. Purdue-Fort Wayne is at South Dakota State next weekend as a pickoff move is a little high. Hinson goes up to get it and then hops over. Moeller diving back to the bag. After the trip to South Dakota State, the following weekend, Purdue-Fort Wayne will go to North Dakota State, and then the Dons host Western Illinois to round out the regular season, May 16th through 18th. Here's another pop fly foul ball. It's out of play. Again over the right side, and the count remains 2-2 to Trenton Stoner. Stoner a 276 average this year. In 105 at-bats, he's punched out 22 times, so a little less than 1 out of every 4. So not a guy who's going to strike out a ton, and he's proving tough to put away here. Lifts one to right field. Low started to his right, now comes in on it, makes the grab. And that's one down as Stoner is retired on the fly ball to right.
Number 24, Robert Young.
Brings up Robert Young, the third. Right fielder did not play in yesterday's contest, did play on Friday. Young hitting .256 on the year. Young waving the bat out in front of him, awaiting the first pitch from Isaac Coffey. On its way, fouled back for strike one. We're scoreless in the bottom of the second. 1 out and 1 on for Purdue-Fort Wayne. The Golden Eagles have stranded 5 in the game already. Just haven't been able to come up with a big hit to push a run across yet in the contest. Coffey from the stretch. Peeks over at the runner, now throws home. This ball lifted in the air, high in the air to left field. Pace giving chase over towards foul territory. Will he have room? Gets all the way to the wall. He jumps, and he couldn't quite get there as it carries out over the foul territory fence over the left side. Moeller had actually tagged up. That's a long run for Pace and a solid effort from the Golden Eagle left fielder. It's strike 2 on Young. The wind still just lightly blowing in from left field. 0-2 count. And Isaac Coffey fires. Breaking ball is fouled off over towards the Fort Wayne dugout up the third base side. I'm going to guess that probably got wet in the process. There's a lot of water between the dugout and the infield here on the third base side. It's wet certainly on the Golden Eagle side as well. But there isn't standing water over there. Count is still 0-2. Isaac Coffey has thrown 17 pitches in this inning. As Moeller, fell down, went down and is holding his right leg. Looked like he took off there. Fell down, went down and is holding his right leg. Looked like over there earlier trying to get his footing. It looked like Moeller maybe lost his footing there. But he's walking on it okay. It was ball 1 in the dirt. 2 down now, nobody on in the inning. And here's the 1-2 from Coffey. That one's in the dirt, ball 2. Two count to Young. Scoreless in the bottom of the second. Oh, that one Coffey hung on to a little too long. And the count is full. Coffey has thrown at least 6 pitches now to every batter in this inning, all 3 of them. It's not like he's faced a ton of guys. Here's the 3-2. Grounded to the left side. Check that. A line to the left side. And into left center field for a base hit. Young trying to get 2. It's barehanded by Hall. Here comes the throw to second. And diving in ahead of the throw is Robert Young with a double. I believe that's the first extra base hit of the series for Purdue-Fort Wayne. Let me check on that. Doubles, home runs. Yeah, that's the first extra base hit of the series for Purdue-Fort Wayne, and it puts a man in scoring position. With 2 outs in a scoreless bottom of the second, ball 1 is low and away to Aaron Chapman. Another right-handed hitter. Chapman white batting gloves to match his white bat. Slightly open batting stance as he waits for Coffee to deliver. The 1-0. Foul tipped it back to the backstop. Count evens at 1-1. "36 pitches now for Isaac Coffey. He's only allowed 2 base runners. The 1-1. Outside, up and away, ball 2. This is his 4th batter faced in the inning. He threw 6 pitches to Garrett Moeller, followed that with 8 to Trenton Stoner, and then 7 to Robert Young III before that double kept the inning alive for the Mastodons. 2-1 count, 2 outs. Wilson, having been holding the runner on, returns to his spot at second, and a foul ball chopped over to the third base coach evens the count at 2-2. So Coffey will deliver at least 5 pitches to every batter in this inning, trying to get out of the frame and keep this game scoreless here in the second. Coffey, a long look in, has the ball behind his back, now brings it to his glove as he comes set. The 2-2. Curveball, flown in the air, shallow right field, Lowe coming in on it. Looks like he's got it tracked, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So Purdue Fort Wayne threatens in a couple of ways in the inning, but is also unable to score. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And it's 0-0 through 2 innings. 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for the Golden Eagles when we come back in a moment. This is Oral Roberts Baseball on the ORU Sports Network. And in the break here, let's hear from yesterday's Golden Eagle star. Looking to break through now in the third. Two count. Base is empty for Spencer Henson, who drew a walk in his first at bat. This one came inside and, nope, it was outside, excuse me. He missed a pitch in there somewhere. Oh, no, we didn't. Spencer Henson just, what is happening right now? Okay, Spencer, I think thought it was ball 4. Instead, it's a full count. Well, you don't see that happen particularly often. So Henson will walk back to the right-handed batter's box. It's a full count, no outs, nobody on. Each team scoreless, each team with one hit. Neither team has made an error yet in the game. A lot of room, especially in center field for Henson. Doesn't matter, he takes ball 4 up and away. Second walk of the game issued to Henson. And the leadoff man is on for the Golden Eagles for a second consecutive inning. That'll bring up Isaac Coffey. Coffey in the last 10 games leading the team with a .406 average. That's technically speaking not true. If leading the team in players with more than 20 at-bats in those games with a .406 average. Alex Schmitz is 1 for 1, so batting 1,000. Brody Gibson is 3 for 5. Foul tip here makes the count 0-1 to Isaac Coffey. Coffey hitting .250 against lefties this year, .341 against righties, so he's been significantly better against right-handed pitching as a right-handed hitter. Usually for those righties, it's not quite as drastic of a difference one way or the other between facing lefties and righties, but it's not often you see that big of an advantage against right-handed pitchers for a right-handed hitter. Strike 2 is swung through and missed. Here's the 0-2. Chopped to the right side. Henson on his horse has to, beat the play, and he gets tangled up with the second baseman who ran into the base path. The ball got by him. Right now it's being scored a hit. Head coach Bobby Pierce is heading out to speak with the field umpires about a possible interference call. Ryan Neal along with Miles Wilcox and Ryan Fulmer are all out to check on Spencer Henson. Quite frankly, I'm not familiar enough with the interference rules to know in that particular situation, because Henson's trying to get by him to avoid the potential double play ball, and Henson did not leave the baseline. The second baseman, Chapman, was coming in on it, unable to field it or make the tag, and Henson tried to leap over him and hit him in the shoulder. Right now, everybody's safe, and it scored a hit for Isaac Coffey, although the umpires have gathered to talk things over just behind the pitcher's mound. Henson appears to be okay. Coach Fulmer and Miles Wilcox have both returned back to the Golden Eagle dugout, and Ryan Neal has gone back over to the third base coaching box. And the call will stand. Henson is safe at second on a single for Isaac Coffey.
Number 7, Blake Hall.
That'll bring up Blake Hall. Nobody out, 2 on in front of him. The corners are in. Hall, a great candidate to lay down a bunt in this situation. Scoreless ball game, top of the third inning. Hall squares to bunt. Hall pops it foul over the first base side. Strike 1 to Blake Hall. Hall with 2 sacrifice bunts this season. Tied for third on the team, behind only Martinez and Schmitz. Wind blowing in pretty hard from left center field right now. Hall squares to bunt again, bunts it up the first base side. Heading towards first, it's scooped up by the pitcher, and he dropped the ball on the tag. But Hall has been called out over at first base. And bunts it up the first base side. Heading towards first, it's scooped up by the pitcher, and he dropped the ball on the tag. But Hall has been called out in what has been a goofy inning so far here in the top of the third. 1 unassisted sac bunt there for the first out of the inning. 2 in scoring position now, though, for Andrew Pace. Pace, a very good game 2 of the series yesterday. Went 4 for 5, matching his career high in hits. Scored a couple runs, didn't drive any in. A chance to do that here. Breaking ball is in there for strike 1. Here's a ball lifted to shallow left field. Coming in on it is Stoner. Stoner runs and makes the catch and then sprints through the marsh over there on the. Here's a ball lifted to shallow left field. Coming in on it is Stoner. Stoner runs and makes the catch and then sprints through the. Spencer Hinson and Isaac Coffey both have to stay put. And that gives Purdue Fort Wayne a big chance to get out of this inning. Drew Lowe comes to the plate. In his first plate appearance, drew a walk, so no official at-bats today. 2 down, 2 on in front of him, and ball 1 is up high. Big swing and a miss. Evens the count at 1-1. Lowe worked a full count before drawing that walk back in the second inning, so just an inning ago. Hinson on third, Coffey on second. Here's the 1-1. On the outside corner for strike 2. This is a wacky inning in which we saw Hinson draw a leadoff walk before a collision on a ground ball towards second base. Coffey given a base hit. No interference ruled. Lowe loops one to shallow right field. This is trouble, and it is down in right field. 1 run is in. Coffey will score as well. Chapman made a heck of an effort from his second base position, laid out there in shallow right, but couldn't get there. The bloop single scores 2 from Drew Lowe, and ORU leads at 2-0. 1 run is in. Coffey will score as well. Chapman made a heck of an effort from his second base position, laid out there in shallow right, but couldn't get there. The bloop single scores 2. That'll bring up Riley Kaiser. Kaiser reached on a fielder's choice on a sac bunt attempt in the second. Advanced to second on a wild pitch, was stranded there. 2-0 Golden Eagles on the third hit of the day, and Kaiser swings through a curveball for strike 1. Miller working from the stretch, comes set, runner on the move, and the ball dropped behind home plate. So a stolen base for Drew Lowe to get into scoring position. I believe that was called a ball. Indeed, the count is 1-1 now to Riley Kaiser, and now a runner in scoring position for the Golden Eagle catcher. The doubleheader being moved to a game 3 today perhaps has allowed Kaiser to start a third consecutive game behind the plate. Ooh, ball 2 misses up high. Leaping out of his stance to get it was Stewart behind the plate. The funny thing about Miller today is most of his wild pitches have actually been up or away. A lot of them haven't been in the dirt. It's just the ball coming out of his hand early. Two-one count, 2 down. Kaiser now working his way ahead in the count, trying to knock in another run. Checks his swing, or did he? He did not. Strike 2 is in the dirt. Kaiser went around enough for home plate umpire Justin Bursch to say, yeah, you went around. Still a 2-2 count, though. 2 outs, and Drew Lowe standing on second. ORU stranded 2 in the first, 3 in the second, but have scored 2 here in the third. Kaiser swings through strike 3. That is the second strikeout issued by Miller, and it ends the Golden Eagle threat in the third. But ORU gets 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors, 1 left on base. And it's 2-0 Golden Eagles as we go to the bottom of the third. 8-9 one-hitters due up. This is Oral Roberts Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.
Dixon.
As you just heard, Jacob Dixon will lead things off to start the bottom of the third inning. Dixon with a red bat swings at the first offering and fouls it off for strike one. Isaac Coffey, 40 pitches now in the contest. Dixon got the start yesterday, went 1 for 2. Came in a reserve role on Friday, went 0 for 1 with a run scored in that game. Strike two makes the count 0-2. Coffey, having worked out of a jam in the last inning, coming out aggressively, although this one came out of his hand early. The breaking ball stays up high as Dixon ducks underneath it, and the count goes to 1-2. Coffey already delivering. Ground ball hit foul at the third base side. The count will stay at 1-2. This is something we've seen quite a bit of early on in this game for guys trying to hit off of Isaac Coffey. Or you getting the offense going a little bit there in what was somewhat of a unique top of the third. A couple of close calls, including a potential interference call that was waved off, and then a tag that the ball dropped out but was called, dropped out of the glove but was called out anyway. Pop fly foul ball over the first base side, heads over to the softball field, and the count will stay at 1-2. It's been a slow pace. We're about an hour into this game and have only played 2.5 innings. There's a swinging strike three as Dixon went after the slider. Third strikeout issued by Coffey, first since the first inning. One down here in the bottom of the third, nobody on for Dylan Stewart. Coffey starts the at-bat with a fastball that skips in the dirt. Ball one to Dylan Stewart. Keeping an eye on the only other game in the league today, Omaha and South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits have a man on second with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. They're scoreless. There's a strike, evening the count at 1-1 to Stewart. Dylan Stewart has had limited at-bats, 27 on the year, hitting 148. This is his 8th start of the season. Strike two is called on the outside corner. One down, nobody on. Here's the 1-2. Chopped foul at the third base side. Backhanded by McMurray to keep it dry, and he'll deliver it back over to Coffey. Keeps the count at 1-2. Coffey has been ahead for the most part in these counts. Got behind in a couple there in the second inning. But another 1-2 count that he's working with here. Fastball fouled off at the first base side. That heads over and actually carries over the garage area up the right field side. There's a building with about, 7 garage doors down there. And apparently 7 more on the other side. It's a two-way garage, but houses a lot of the maintenance things, the field work stuff for both the baseball and the softball fields here at Fort Wayne. Another foul ball, the third of the at-bat with 2 strikes, keeps the count at 1-2. I am wondering what the purpose of the garage doors on the other side is as well. Fly ball hit to right, Low moving to his right, and makes the catch for out number 2. 2 down, nobody on for Travis Up in a 2-0 ball game. The Golden Eagles lead bottom of the third inning. We got a 13-hour bus ride waiting for us after this contest ends. Jump on the road, grab whatever the dinner is to go, and put ourselves in the trusty hands of Brad and Don heading home to Tulsa. Bunted back up the middle. It's scooped up by Coffey. He throws to first in time to get Travis Up. That was a nice play from Coffey coming off the mound. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Coffey and the Golden Eagle defense in the third, requiring just 14 pitches. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Second 1-2-3 inning in 3 frames for Coffey on the mound. And we head to the fourth with Oral Roberts leading 2-0. 9-1-2 hitters due up. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.
The sale is on. Come on in and save at Tommy Nix Chevrolet and Tommy Nix Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, both in Tahlequah. Low price.
Behind us here is, I assume that's the softball coach out here dragging the softball field. And that field has obviously taken on even more water than the baseball field because it hasn't been tarped on the infield in the last couple of days. Anthony Martinez stepped out of the box there. I didn't see a time call from the umpire, so I'm not sure if that was ball one or if time was granted. I think it was just ball one. This ball hit to left field and caught on a line by the left fielder Brunson. Starting to approach
Jake McMurray.
Starting to approach Twilight Zone levels of wackiness in these last couple of innings. We're heading on a train that could end up in us seeing some really goofy baseball happenings over the course of the next hour and a half or so here. Breaking ball stays low and away. Ball one to Jake McMurray. One down, nobody on. 2-0 Oral Roberts leads, top of the fourth. Omaha able to keep South Dakota State off the board in the second. One out, nobody on for the Mavericks in the bottom of the second in Omaha. Strike one is in there. The count evens at 1-1. Justin Miller has allowed but 2 runs through 3 1/3 innings of work in his 5th start of the season. This one fouled back to the backstop, and the count stays at goes to 1-2. Look at the hustle from Wes Davis. ORU's pitching coach over to get the baseball, toss it back over to the Fort Wayne dugout. I'll figure out how words work at some point. This ball lifted in the air to the right side, fouled off over the Golden Eagle dugout, and it lands on top of the softball netting and actually caroms out onto the softball field. Still a 1-2 count to Jake McMurray. 0 for 1 with a walk today. In the leadoff spot, swings through strike 3. Third strikeout issued by Miller. It's the second out of the 4th inning. And it'll bring up Hunter Wilson.
Next up, number 24, Hunter Wilson.
Wilson's long hair shooting out the back of his batting helmet as he steps into the left-handed batter's box. Black bat, black batting gloves. And ball one is up high from the lefty Miller. Wilson seems to be enjoying his final year of collegiate baseball here with the Golden Eagles. Got some karaoke from him on the bus a couple of trips ago. Actually turned out to be a better singer than I might have anticipated. A little bit of a lower register. Here's the 1-1. And ball 2 is called just low and away. Wilson today 0 for 2, a strikeout and a groundout. Fastball came inside on him here, and the count goes to 3-1. Anytime you can get somebody on in front of Spencer Henson, that's what you'd like to see, even with the wind blowing in from left field today. He hit one dead into the wind Friday that the wind just knocked down, but it ended up being a double. Breaking ball drops into the zone, and the count's full. Miller trying to work his first 1-2-3 inning. He got the first 2 outs of the first, but the Golden Eagles would put a couple of guys on before that frame came to an end. There's the 3-2. Same pitch. This one stayed up, though. And ball 4 sends Wilson down to first and brings up Spencer Henson.
Batter 14, Spencer Henson.
Henson has come to the plate twice. He's drawn 2 walks and scored a run. Stranded on third, back in the first inning. Two down and a runner on first. Wilson has stolen 11 bags this year on 11 attempts. See if he tries to take off here. A fly ball hit to shallow right field. Moving over behind it is up the first baseman. He's called off by the second baseman, Chapman, who makes the grab just maybe a half step into foul territory for out number 3. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left for the Golden Eagles in the 4th. Or he leads at 2-0. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for the Mastodons. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network. Brandon Yoho will lead off the bottom of the 4th inning for the Mastodons. 2-0 Oral Roberts leads. Coffee working into the 4th. Gets strike 1 on the outside corner called. The 0-1 on its way. That one a breaking ball that moved a little too far outside. And the count evens at 1-1. 1-1, grounded up the left side. And the count is goes to 1-2. Well, trying to get a look at Isaac Coffey's last few outings here. Now we're getting to the internet to agree with us. As Coffey works through his windup, delivers the 1-2. A breaking ball that's popped foul over the first base side, over towards the ORU bullpen, and it is down safely. Spencer Henson was making a long run for it. kind of pulled up there. Jogging back over to first, though. Looks like he's okay for the most part. Count stays at 1-2 to Brandon Yoho. So Coffey in his last couple of outings here allowed 4 hits, 1 run over 3 innings against North Dakota State as he gets a swinging strikeout here to Yoho. 4th strikeout issued by Coffey, first out of the 4th inning.
Next up for the Mastodon, number 32, Alec Brunson.
Coffey with 2 strikeouts, 2 walks in that game as well. Against Oklahoma, went 3 innings, allowed 4 hits, but no runs, struck out 3 and walked only 1. This ball hit well to center field. Hall going back on it, and he slows up and makes the grab in center for out number 2. A quick out there against Alec Brunson, who hit that ball pretty well, but also pretty much straight into the wind. The wind's kind of shifted around to blow in from left center. 2 down on just 6 pitches here in the 4th for Isaac Coffey, and Garrett Muller will come to the plate. Oral Roberts as a whole has only used 3 pitchers this week, and McMinn threw 5, followed by 2 from Salem on Friday, and then Gaskins went all 8 yesterday. Here's the first pitch home. It's outside to Garrett Muller, who drew a walk in his first at bat. That led off the 2nd inning. So Coffey's allowed over his last 6 innings only 1 run. Has struck out 5 and walked 3, although today he has walked only 1. This one popped up in the air left side. McMurray over to play it in foul territory, and he makes the catch for out number 3. That is just a 5, 6, 7, 8 pitch inning for Isaac Coffey and the Golden Eagles in the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left, as Coffey has retired 7 consecutive. Fort Wayne Mastodons, we go to the 5th with ORU leading 2-0. 4, 5, 6 hitters due up. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network. Right-handed batter's box to lead off the top of the 5th inning. Took strike 1, fouls off strike 2, so it's an 0-2 count against Coffey, one of only 2 players to score for the Golden Eagles today. Justin Miller threw 85 pitches through 4 innings and is back out to work the 5th as the starter for Purdue Fort Wayne, and he strikes out Coffey on 3 pitches to start out the inning. 4th strikeout.
Number 7, Blake Hall.
One down, nobody on for Blake Hall. 0 for 1 with a sac bunt. A 2-0 ball game. ORU has only 3 hits on the day. Fort Wayne with only 1. Neither team has made an error. After an offensive outburst over the first 2 games of this series, the Golden Eagles have struggled to scratch runs across in this one, leading just 2-0. Hall swings through a strike, and the count is even at 1-1. The hits on the day belong to Coffey, Pace, and Lowe, the 4, 6, and 7 hitters respectively. That one up and away. 2-1 count to Blake Hall. One of those 3 guys, Pace, is on deck. Lowe will follow him. 2-1 to Hall. Outside on the two-seam fastball that ran away from the right-handed hitter. Hall with a favorable count, trying to get a batter on with only one out here in the inning. Chops one back, out of play. Or rather, into foul territory. And the count is full to Hall. Miller's kind of been effectively wild in this game, and he's limited his walks since the third inning. Well, I say that. He did walk somebody in the fourth, but he walked somebody with 2 outs. So that's a little bit easier to work around as a foul ball keeps the count full to Hall. Pitch number 95 unofficially coming up here for Justin Miller. 94 coming up. That's why I threw the unofficial disclaimer in there. Here's the 3-2. Up and away. All heads down to first on the walk.
Next
That'll bring
batter,
up
number
Andrew
20,
Pace, 1 for
Andrew
2.
Pace.
One out, one on for the Golden Eagles here in the top of the 5th inning. Two runs over the course of 4 innings. Now, there was a span yesterday in which ORU only scored 1 run over the course of 4 innings. So it's not unheard of in this series. But Miller has pitched about as well as anybody for these Fort Wayne Mastodons this weekend. Ball 1 misses outside. He has walked at least 1 in each inning today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walks in total as he picks off behind Hall, and Blake is back in safely. Two on in the top of the 3rd for South Dakota State, but 2 outs and still scoreless there in Omaha as strike 1 is called to Pace. North Dakota State took 2 in Fargo from Western Illinois to tie things up for the 4th place spot. Remember that only the top 4 teams make the conference standings. Here's the 1-1. Strike 2 is called. For Purdue Fort Wayne, they are now, technically speaking, 9.5 games back, and this is their, after today they'll only have 9 games remaining of that 4th place spot. So mathematically, still in contention. Ball 2 is low. The Golden Eagles currently tied with South Dakota State for the 2nd spot, 5 games behind Omaha, and hoping to get a little more help from the Jackrabbits today. 2-2 count, 1 out, runner on first. Pace pops it in the air, left side of the infield. Stoner coming over through some of the puddles to try to get to it, and he's unable to get there right in front of his own dugout. I do not envy that play today. Like that, generally speaking, that is kind of a difficult play to begin with. You add a lake between you and where the baseball is falling, and it gets a lot more difficult. That'll keep the count at 2-2. So Pace gets new life in the left-handed batter's box. ORU leading at 2-0 here in the 5th. Pace checked to swing on a breaking ball in the dirt, and the count is full. So that's 2 full counts worked by ORU hitters out of 3 batters in this inning. And Pace takes ball 4, up and in, walks down to first. So back-to-back walks to put runners on first and second with only 1 out in this inning. An update on the happenings in Omaha.
Number 10, Drew Lowe.
A couple of guys were able to reach, and then back-to-back wild pitches scored both runners for South Dakota State. So the Jackrabbits lead 2-0. And now another runner on for Omaha with 2 out, South Dakota State with 2 outs in the top of the third inning. Kulawine having some trouble with his command there. The Golden Eagles got to him in Tulsa a couple of weeks ago. Now I'll have a mound visit here at least. There is a pitcher warming up for Purdue-Fort Wayne. I don't know how long he's been out there. So whether or not he's ready to go right at this moment, I think he'll probably need a little bit more time. We're mostly seeing a conversation on the mound right now with Grant Byerly and his entire infield. Oriole leads it 2-0. Both runs coming in the top of the third inning. We're playing in the top of the fifth with 1 out and 2 on. Oriole still with only 3 hits on the day. But they have now drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 walks, so 10 base runners. Down in the bullpen right now is Garrett Hill for Purdue-Fort Wayne, bidding to make his 12th appearance of the year. For now, though, they'll stick with Miller. Justin Miller, to be specific. There are 3 Millers on the squad. I was told by the brochure there wouldn't be this many Millers. Ball 1 misses outside to Drew Lowe. Lowe is 1 for 1 with a single, a 2 RBI single for that matter, and a walk. The single wasn't the best contact he's ever made, but the Texas leaguer to shallow right got it done. 1-0 count to the freshman out of Broken Arrow, 1 out, 2 on in front of him, and a fastball called inside. I got to be honest, I thought that was going to be a strike on the inside edge there. But Lowe gets the benefit of the doubt. Miller into triple digits here on the pitch count now. A pretty solid effort from him in only his 5th start of the year. Here's the 2-0. That one called a strike on the outside corner. Hasn't been hyper efficient, but he has kept Purdue-Fort Wayne in the game. And for the Mastodons, really for any team, all you're asking for in from your starter is, can you give us a chance to win the contest? And Purdue-Fort Wayne is not out of this one yet by any stretch of the imagination. 2-1 count, 1 down. Foul tip off the catcher's mask. The count goes to 2-2. South Dakota State has now moved 2 into scoring position as part of this 2-out rally in Omaha. 2 down and a 3-0 count, it would appear, to Logan Holtz. Luke Ira is on deck up at the home of the Mavericks. Breaking ball in the dirt. That is ball 3 to Drew Lowe, and the count is full. That is his 2nd full count worked in 3 at-bats today. He saw 4 pitches when he got that single to right. Base is now loaded for South Dakota State with 2 outs in the top of the third, leading Omaha 2-0. A Golden Eagle win and a South Dakota State win would bring Oral Roberts within 4 games of Omaha with 9 to play. And 3 games against the Mavericks coming up. This ball popped in the air, right side of the infield. The second baseman, Chapman, is underneath it. That should be an infield fly rule, and there's the call. So Lowe pops out. Air, right side of the infield. The second baseman, Chapman, is underneath it. That should be an infield fly rule, and there's the call. So Lowe pops out. Kaiser today 0 for 2. But again, he comes up with runners on in front of him. We'll see what he can come up with. Grounds one to the right side, and it is scooped up by the first baseman. Tosses it to the covering Miller. And he's able to get Kaiser for out number 3. Up, backhanded that one, heading towards second. Grounds one to the right side, and it is scooped up by the first baseman. Tosses it to the covering Miller. And he's able to get Kaiser for out number 3. A pretty good job working around a total of 7 walks allowed today. No runs, no hits, no errors, 2 left. It's just 2-0 Golden Eagles as we go to the bottom of the 5th. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up. This is Golden Eagle Baseball here on the ORU Sports Network.
In business since 1902, Lamar Outdoor Advertising is one of the largest outdoor advertising companies in the world. Locally operated in Tulsa, Lamar provides full-service sales and creativity to target your audience. More than just traditional billboards, Lamar is also Tulsa's largest digital advertising company. So the next time you look up and see an ad from Lamar Outdoor Advertising, ask yourself how Lamar can help your business. Give them a call at 918-665-1755. Lamar, we are outdoor.
Car buyers, if you're even thinking about buying a new or pre-owned vehicle, there's only one name you need to know. Jim Norton Toyota. Log in at jimnortontoyota.com or go see them today at 9809 South Memorial to
Go to the bottom of the fifth. Isaac Coffey back out to work it.
Stoner.
61 pitches through 4 innings for the freshman out of California. Don't forget you can communicate with the broadcast on Twitter by sending me a tweet at ORU Voice, or you can send an email to orubaseball@outlook.com. Here's the first pitch home of the inning, and it's lined to left field. Pace moving to his right, going back on it over his right shoulder, and he makes the catch for out number 1, just a few steps shy of the warning track. That was as well hit of a ball as we've seen from Purdue Fort Wayne today, as it very nearly cleared the glove of Pace in left field, but Pace up to the task of tracking it down. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th. That'll bring up Robert Young, who probably has the second hardest hit ball of the day for the Dons. A line driving to left center for a double. He takes strike 1. Like a little front door breaking ball. It didn't break a whole lot, but it got in there. Young still the only hit of the day for Purdue Fort Wayne. Chops this one foul at the third base side. Nice play by the third base coach there for Purdue Fort Wayne. The count goes to 0-2. An 0-2 on the way from Coffey. Foul back to the backstop. Count will stay there. Coffey, I don't know that I would say he's been more aggressive, but I think his command has gotten a little better as this game has gone on, because he's been around the strike zone a little bit more than he was early. Again, only 1 hit allowed and only 1 walk issued, and there's a called strike 3 to retire Young, second out of the inning. Coffey has struck out 5. 2 down, nobody on for Aaron Chapman. ORU leads at 2-0 here in the bottom of the 5th.
Number 13, Aaron Chapman.
Coffey struck out 7 against Murray State in his first start of the year. This one grounded to the left side, scooped up by Martinez back on the outfield grass, throws to first, and he got Chapman by a step. Another quick inning for Coffey and the Golden Eagle defense, as Pace and Martinez both help out with that one. 6 pitches in the frame for Isaac Coffey. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left, and that is now 10 consecutive retired by Coffey here in the game. ORU leads at 2-0 as we go to the 6th. Due up for the Golden Eagles, the 9-1-2 hitters Martinez, McMurray, Wilson. This is ORU Baseball on the ORU Sports Network. 1 in 11 appearances. He's thrown 13 innings, allowed 15 hits, 20 runs, 17 of them earned. Struck out 13 while walking 25, so a 2-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio. A .313 average against him. He's also hit 2 batters on the year. He will face a tough part of the lineup here. Anthony Martinez will start things off, and then we go back to the top of the Golden Eagle order. Martinez has lined out twice today, once to center field, once to left. Wind coming in on him from left field, and the left fielder Brunson is playing shallow and on the line. There is some room in the left center field gap. You make that Holiday Inn sign on the left center field wall your target and just kind of hit it over there. Ball 1 started the at-bat. 7 walks, but only 3 hits and 2 runs allowed from the starter, Justin Miller, for Purdue Fort Wayne today. And as I mentioned earlier, all you ask from a starting pitcher really is to give you a chance to win the game, and he did exactly that. I think the Dons have to be very happy about what they got out of Justin Miller today. This ball pops straight back out of play by Martinez, and the count goes to 1-2. Over 100 pitches by Hill in the game, by the way. Golden Eagles in the gray jerseys, gray pants today, navy blue hats with the ORU Flame logo diagonal across the front. Purdue Fort Wayne, black jerseys, black hats, white pants today. The 1-2, a check swing, and a foul ball over towards the softball field where one of the coaches is still working the infield over there. That ball went out to center field, so she didn't really have to worry about it. Count stays at 1-2 to Martinez. Martinez trying to find a way to start off this inning the right way and turn it over to the top of the order with a man on. 1-2 on its way. Breaking ball, fouled back to the netting. And again, the count will stay at 1-2. Matt Gaskins, who we heard from earlier in the broadcast, after a complete game, 8-inning shutout yesterday. Gaskins getting better and better as this year has gone on, and he's pitching more efficiently. Here's the 1-2. Got him to swing and miss on a fastball outside, strike 3. First strikeout issued by Garrett Hill today. 1 down, nobody on for Jake McMurray. 2-0 ball game. ORU leads. Both runs coming in the 3rd for the Golden Eagles. Playing here in the 6th. Still only 3 hits for ORU on the day. ORU squared a few more up, but hasn't been able to find safe ground. Breaking ball. Low and away for ball 1 to Jake McMurray. And even though ORU has only 3 hits, as I mentioned earlier, they've drawn 7 walks, so it's not as if ORU hasn't been getting on base. They just haven't been able to come up with that big hit when they're looking for it. Here's the 1-0. Another curveball. That one is in the zone to even the count at 1-1. There have been very few quick at-bats for the Golden Eagles in this one as well. We're looking at 5 or more pitches in most of these at-bats. Fastball just outside, and a 2-1 count now to McMurray, who's 0 for 2 with a walk today. McMurray on Friday did not have an official at-bat, but he was hit by 2 pitches and drew 3 walks in 5 plate appearances in that contest. Here's a 2-1. Fouled off into the netting on the right side behind home plate. The count evens at 2-2. That fastball looked to be in a similar location to the one before it, but McMurray decided to offer it that one, tried to shoot it the other way, couldn't quite do it. Both outfielders, I wouldn't say playing the line, but shading that direction. So a lot of room in the gaps right now. 2-2 count, 1 down, the pitch home. A breaking ball, shot to the third base side, and it ate up the third baseman Stoner. McMurray reaches on the play, and it will be scored a hit for Jake McMurray, his first of the day.
Hunter Wilson.
That'll bring up Hunter Wilson. Willie 0 for 2 with a walk today. Now hits with a man in front of him. One down. Squares to bunt. Bunts it at the third base side. It rolls foul. And the count goes to 0-1. I like the idea. The execution was nearly there. It hasn't changed the approach of the third baseman Stoner much. He's still about a step behind the baseline over there at third. See if Wilson squares to bunt again. He does not. Swings at this one and fouls it back to the netting. A pretty good hack at it. But underneath it, count goes to 0-2. Spencer Henson on deck. Isaac Coffey would follow. Into the fourth inning now in Omaha. South Dakota State still leading the Mavericks 2-0. That's the only other game today. The Leathernecks and Bison wrapped up their series in Fargo yesterday with a doubleheader. North Dakota State sweeping the doubleheader, taking 2 of 3 in that series. The 0-2, line back up the middle, falling and down in front of the center fielder, and trying to go first to third is McMurray. He'll get there. That was some aggressive base running. Now here's a throw behind Wilson at first, and he's out at first base. Wilson got too far around the bag over there at first. That's the second out of the inning after his base hit. 8-3 put out for out number 2, and it brings up Spencer Henson. Looks like he just slipped and went down after rounding, trying to do his general routine going back to the bag, and just went out from under him. We saw the similar thing happen to a Purdue-Fort Wayne player earlier in the game, as Garrett Moeller tried to take off and get to second base, and he slipped and fell. That's part of the issue with the wet field conditions and the rain. They've done a bunch of quick dry out there, and that stuff can pile up, and it's almost like trying to run through sand. So it's not always ideal, as Spencer Henson takes strike 1. Henson looking for his first hit, but he's reached twice today. 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a run scored. 5 hits in the game now for ORU, 2 in this inning. Here's the 0-1. Big hack from Henson. Swings through at strike 2. Oh, 2 count. Runner on third is McMurray. And the 0-2 misses outside. McMurray, some aggressive base running, impressive to get from first to third on that last play. The count is 1-2. Henson has been good with runners in scoring position this year. And again, he's already drawn 2 walks today, so a solid day at the plate. Breaking ball drops low and away, and the count is even at 2-2. Henson with 2 outs this season is hitting .395. That's pretty incredible. 4 out of 10 times you come up with 2 outs, you're able to extend the inning. And honestly, there's some walks in there, for that matter, that don't apply to that average. Here's the 2-2. That's up high. Ball 3, and the count is full. Henson's been putting up these kind of numbers at the plate for the last 2 years after his freshman season, when he really didn't hit a lot. He mostly pitched. Only 17 at-bats that freshman year. Full count, 2 down, runner on third in a 2-0 ball game. A breaking ball is looped to shallow right field. That could be trouble again. The second baseman back for it, and he can't get there. Spencer Henson with the bloop single. And the Golden Eagles again score a run on a Texas leaguer. All 3 runs have come on hits like that. The Golden Eagles will take it. It's an RBI single for Spencer Henson. That was almost a carbon copy of Drew Lowe's 2 RBI single back in the 3rd inning. McMurray scores from third. 3-0 Golden Eagles here in the 6th. That brings up Isaac Coffey. again, a heck of an effort from Chapman, the second baseman, who's laid out on both of those plays. And he's put everything out on the line on both of those and just has come up a total of about 18 inches short. Ball one misses low to Isaac Coffey. Coffey has been excellent on the mound today, trying to do a little more damage at the plate as he swings through strike one. He's 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Coffey's having a pretty effective all-around day so far. Freshman righty waits for the 1-1, 2 out. Spencer Henson over on first. Henson with a very modest lead over at the first base bag, swinging a miss on strike 2. We saw him digging out that first base line earlier, and it's caused problems for multiple base runners today for both squads. Coffey swung through strike 2. The count goes to 1-2. And again, like I said, with all that wetness over there, that quick dry is just like sand. It can be hard to maneuver in. 1-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. And Coffey goes down on strikes for a second consecutive at bat. It's the second strikeout issued by Hill, but the Golden Eagles get a run in the inning on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left. And as we head to the bottom of the 6th, ORU leads at 3-0. Back in more in a moment. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network. To the 7th, the bottom of the 6th we go, as we've got a pinch hitter here, Jacob Dixon, out of the contest. Jake Lang enters the fray for the Mastodons, facing Isaac Coffey, and he's quickly behind in the count 0-2. Coffey needed only 6 pitches to get through the 5th inning, and he gets a swinging strike 3 to start this one. That is 6 strikeouts. That ties a career high for Isaac Coffey. Check that. He's 1 behind. He threw 7 against Murray State. Now 6 innings pitched is his career high in that same game.
Next up, number 2.
Was that the same game? Let me double check, make sure. Regardless, he's got a chance to tie that here. Through 6 innings against Dallas Baptist, as a matter of fact, for a career high. Ball 1 is off the mark to Dylan Stewart. So Coffey needed just 6 pitches in the 5th, just 8 in the 4th. as he gets strike one in there to even the count at 1-1. In all likelihood, because he's already thrown 5, he'll probably throw more than that in this inning. But still, he's been highly efficient over the last couple. And he still allowed only 1 hit as a breaking ball hits the outside of the zone for strike 2. No runs. Coffey has walked 1. The hit and the run both came in the same inning. That was we're back in the second. Other than that, he's retired every batter he's faced, including 11 in a row here. The 1-2 fouled back into the netting. This is the 18th batter Coffey has faced. He's retired 15, now 16 of the 18 that he's faced. And that is tied for his career high in strikeouts now with 7. 2 down in the inning, and we go back to the top of the order and Travis up. A 2 make that 3-0 ball game. ORU leads 6-1 in the hit category. Neither team has made an error. 2 down under sunny skies here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. For Travis up, 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Swings through strike 1. I say ground out, it was a bunt attempt that was actually placed pretty well. It forced Coffey to come off the mound and make a nice play. That was the 3rd out of the 3rd inning. Coffey working through his windup, the 0-1. Lifted in the air, center field. Hall moving towards the left center field gap, looking up into the sun, reaches up and makes the catch for out number 3. Make it 13 consecutive retired by Isaac Coffey and the Golden Eagle defense. He's thrown only 77 pitches through 6 innings. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. And ORU leads at 3-0 going to the 7th. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network. Blake Hall takes a sweeping breaking ball for strike 1 to start the top half of the 7th inning. A 3-0 ball game. ORU leads. ORU pushed the lead to 3 an inning ago in the 6th and ran the hit total from 3 to 6. Ball 1 misses low and away to Hall. Hall is 0 for 1 with a walk in this game and a sac bunt back in the 3rd. One the count, nobody on, as Hall leads off for the first time in this contest. Fastball, called a strike on the outside corner. You could hear the snip-snap of the camera lens down there near our crowd microphone. It's a good day for photos. In fact, Scott Slarks was just up here, had a doozy of Anthony Martinez as Hall swings through strike 3. 3rd strikeout issued by Hill. 1 down here in the top of the 7th. Martinez, as we mentioned earlier, went behind just into the outfield grass behind the second base area for a fly ball. And we noted the splashes at the time, but Slark's got a picture with those splashes coming up from underneath his feet, and it gives you a good idea of just how wet this surface is, especially in the grassy areas, although you couldn't really tell it by looking at the dirt. You can check the ORU Baseball Twitter account if you want to see that photo. It's on there. Don't forget you can communicate with the broadcast as well on Twitter. Send me a tweet at ORU Voice or email me to orubaseball@outlook.com. Pace fouls one back. And the count is even at 1-1. Pace has reached twice today, a single in the second, a walk in the fifth. Hasn't scored yet, though. ORU's not been quite as efficient in terms of turning base runners into runs today. ORU has left at least one on in every inning. Here's a hard hit ball to left center field, and it is down in left field. A diving attempt by Brunson, but he couldn't get there, and Pace into second on the double. That was, holy moly, full on. Here's a hard hit ball to left center field, and it is down in left field. A diving attempt by Brunson, but he couldn't get there, and Pace into second on the double. But Pace into second on the double with one out. Alec Brunson in left channeling his inner Avenger right there and laying out for that ball.
Pinch hitting number 18, Hunter Swift.
I bet he flew a good 8 feet through the air. Got it on his glove, but not in his glove. That'll bring up Hunter Swift. Swift pinch hitting for Lowe here. Swift didn't get the start today against the lefty starter, but now into the game against the right-handed Garrett Hill. Breaking ball. Called a strike on the outside corner. Swift had already started digging the dirt out from behind his left foot, and he kind of froze when he heard the strike call. .31 pitches by my count from Garrett Hill into his second inning of relief work here. Here's the 0-1. Elevated for a ball. Fastball just stayed up around the shoulders of Swift there. So Lowe's day comes to an end going 1 for 2 with a walk and 2 RBI. Pretty solid start for the freshman right out of Broken Arrow. Here's the 1-1. That one is off the mark, either just up or away. Possibly both. Count goes to 2-1. Wasn't far off. Two-one count. Runner on second after the Andrew Pace double. They're playing Swift to pull here on the infield pretty significantly. Backdoor breaking ball stays away, and the count goes to 3-1. There's a lot of room through the left side of the infield for Hunter Swift here. There's even more room in the left center field gap as the center fielder Lang shades him to right. Three-one count, one down. Pitch home. Called a strike inside corner, and the count runs full. Again, another long count worked by a Golden Eagle hitter today. They're through 4 in Omaha. South Dakota State leading the Mavericks 2-0 still. Full count to Hunter Swift. Swift has had a solid series. Trying to come up with a hit here and extend the Golden Eagle 3-0 advantage. Payoff pitch. Called a strike on the inside corner. That is the 4th strikeout in 2 innings from Garrett Hill. That was the first one where he got a hitter looking.
Number 26.
2 down now in the inning. And it brings up Riley Kaiser. Kaiser 0 for 3 today. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout. Nine RBI in the series for Riley Kaiser. After driving in 2 more yesterday. 7 in Friday's contest. 6 hits in the series as well. Takes a curveball outside for ball 1. Doesn't have a hit yet today, however. 1-0 count to Kaiser. Runner still in scoring position after the one-out pace double. Curveball stays outside, or rather moves further outside. Ball 2. Kaiser had, within about a month ago, was actually down below 150 on the year. Got a couple of games of rest, and since returning has been pretty good. He's back up to 230 now, which over the course of a month, you got to hit closer to about 330 to make that happen. Kaiser pops this one foul over the right side. The count goes to 1-2. In fact, in the last 10 games, Kaiser's hitting 273. Well, but that doesn't include these 2 games. So at his last 10 after these 2 contests, or these 3 contests this weekend, is going to be even better, probably up north of 300 by a significant margin. Because he was 6 for 9 over the first 2 games. Right now 6 for 12. So he's still hitting 500 for the series, with a chance to improve upon that here as ball 3 misses outside. Three-one count to Kaiser. Black-barreled bat. Highlighter green Easton written across the barrel. Trying to drive in the run at second base. Wind blowing in. Most of the clouds have blown away here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Ball 4's up high, and Kaiser will walk down to first. It'll bring up Anthony Martinez.
Next batter, number 13, Anthony Martinez.
Brings up Anthony Martinez, who is 0 for 3. A couple of well-hit balls, though, today. Jake McMurray waits on deck. We got a mound visit here, and there are a couple of guys throwing in the Fort Wayne bullpen. The question becomes, will they make the change now or later? Coach Byerly speaking to the most part to his infield, it looks like. He hasn't had a lot of conversation with Hill, the pitcher, as of yet in this mound visit. And now the home plate umpire, Justin Bursky, will go out, break up the huddle, and we'll get back to action. So runners on first and second for Martinez. Dwayne Miller in the bullpen down there for Purdue Fort Wayne. They're not going to him yet. Pace on second, Kaiser on first. Pace doubled, Kaiser walked. 2 outs here in the inning. Overy leading at 3-0, trying to improve upon that advantage. Ball 1 misses low and away. Tried the 2-seam fastball, tried to break it back in, and it wouldn't. Start a little too far outside. Seven hits now for the Golden Eagles in the game. And they have drawn 8 walks. This ball hit hard to left, going back on it. The left fielder, Brunson, he's at the warning track. He's looking up, and he can't quite make the catch as it was directly over his head. 1 run is in. Kaiser coming in to score as well. Martinez trying to get to third, and he's safe at third base. Overy leads at 5-0 on the triple from Anthony Martinez. That would have been a heck of a catch from the left fielder, Brunson, who nearly took the hit away from Pace on a dive earlier in this inning. That ball was hit directly over his head. He would have had to make like Willie Mays Deluxe type of catch right there on the warning track. That ball was hit directly into the wind. On a day in which there's no wind, that ball carries out easily. A crush job from Martinez. Drives in 2 more. And for Anthony Martinez, that is triple number 1 of his Golden Eagle career. So he's hit home run and triple number 1 in this series. 1-1 count now to Jake McMurray with a runner on third. 5-0 Golden Eagles here in the 7th. The 8th hit of the day for Oral Roberts. Kaiser kept the inning alive with the walk, and then McMurray rewarded him by driving him in. Here's the 1-1. Curveball is dribbled foul. Snagged by the catcher behind home plate. Count goes to 1-2. McMurray today 1 for 3 with a walk, a single, and a run scored. The single and run came just an inning ago in the 6th. One, two. McMurray looking to battle up here, see if he can't drive in one more run. Checked his swing on an elevated fastball. That one got up in the eyes of McMurray, and it almost tantalized him enough to go after it, but he held the swing back. Two count. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. McMurray goes down on strikes for the second time today. That is 5 strikeouts as Hill strikes at the side in the inning around 2 Golden Eagle runs.
Hey fans, it's the middle of the 7th. That means it's time to stretch.
2 runs on 1, 2, 3, no, just 2 hits, excuse me. No errors and 1 left on base. ORU leads at 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the 7th, and Isaac Coffey back out to continue his work. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network. First pitch of the inning is lifted to left field. Pace coming in on it as we play here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Pace makes the catch, and Yoho is retired for out number 1.
32, Alec Brunson.
That is now 14 consecutive batters retired from Isaac Coffey. Let me dig in a little bit here on those numbers as Alec Brunson digs into the right-handed batter's box and swings through a breaking ball for strike 1. Still only 79 pitches unofficially for Isaac Coffey. That is strike 2 called, and the count goes to 0-2. And strike 3 is called to Alec Brunson. That's a new career high, 8 strikeouts for Isaac Coffey, as he's also set a new career high with 6 2/3 innings pitched here, and trying to work his way all the way through 7 as Garrett Moeller steps back in. 15 in a row retired by Isaac Coffey here, including strikeouts of 3 of the last 5 batters. Coffey has been aggressive around the zone, and he gets another fastball in to start this at bat. Strike 1 to Moeller. Moeller today 0 for 1 with a walk. Caught stealing after that walk. He hits this one hard down the right field line. Swift giving chase. Foul territory. He runs up the hill. He gets to the fence, and he can't quite get there. The ball hits off the fence just before his arrival. It's a long strike 2, but Swift handled the hill better today than he did on Friday when it resulted in a trip up over there up the right field line. When I say hill, it's not a, I mean, I say it's a small hill in reference, but when you're looking up and you have to run up about a 4-foot incline, that's tough to do. Here's the 0-2 to Moeller. This one hit to left. Pace giving chase towards foul territory. It will be foul, and Pace can't get to it. So the count will stay at 0-2. Moeller giving the Golden Eagle corner outfielders a workout right now. He's forced them to sprint a combined about 75 yards or so in these last couple of swings. Through 5 in Omaha, South Dakota State still holding a 2-0 lead. The Jackrabbits come to the bat in the top of the 6th. Only 2 runs in the top of the 3rd for South Dakota State in that one. Only 4 hits combined in that game so far. Here's the 0-2 again. This one hit to center field. Hall shuffling back on it. Now stops and makes the catch for out number 3. Another quick inning for Isaac Coffey. This one only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitches. '85 pitches through 7 frames for Coffey, and he is retired. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 consecutive batters as we head to the 8th. ORU leading Purdue Fort Wayne 5-0. 2, 3, 4 hitters due up. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.
I'm traveling a lot, always have a craving for Whataburger. I had to make a connection in Houston, had about an hour. Whataburger just opened at Terminal B. Boom, I need to have a patty melt. The creamy pepper sauce, Monterey Jack cheese, bread's toasted. Grabbed my patty melt, started rushing it back. By the time I got there, the lady was just closing the door. She sees my bag, she goes, sorry, but if you give me your Whataburger, I'll let you on the plane. And I told her, book me on to the next flight. And I was late for work, but it was worth every bite. I don't think anything tops the patty melt at Whataburger.
At Mabry Bank, we know it's not just about loans and deposits. It's about being part of something bigger, community. Mabry Bank is active in our communities and proud to support the academic and athletic achievements of our students. From educational scholarships to parades and tailgate parties, we're proud to support the students, teachers, coaches, and parents. This long-standing commitment to community has been part of the bank's mission for 4 generations. Mabry Bank, solutions for life. Member FDIC.
We are through 7 here at Mastodon Field in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Much warmer and drier conditions than Game 3 was, when Game 3 was supposed to take place yesterday. Strike 1 is in there to Hunter Wilson to start the frame. It's the 3rd inning of relief for Garrett Hill. He's allowed 3 runs. 1 in his first inning of work, 2 in his second inning of work. If that trend continues, Golden Eagles would in theory score 3 in this inning as ball 1 is low and in. The starter, Justin Miller, went 5 innings, allowed only 2 runs from the Golden Eagles, giving up only 3 hits in the process. Here's the 1-1 to Wilson. Line towards left center field. It's down for a base hit. Wilson going to try to get 2 as the center fielder Lang is over to get it, and he's able to cut it off in time for Wilson to stay at first. But it's a single for Cowboy, his second hit of the day. And the leadoff man is on for ORU here in the 8th.
Spencer Henson.
Spencer Henson comes to the plate. Henson is 1 for 2 with a couple of walks and a run scored, and he takes ball 1. Henson worked a full count before his RBI single to right in the 6th that drove in McMurray. Here's the 1-0. That's a curveball that works its way outside. Henson is now up to 32 2 walks on the season. Depending on whether or not Nick Smith has drawn any walks for the Jackrabbits this weekend, that would tie him for first in the league. As ball 3 is up and away, and this could be 33 on the year, depending on how the rest of this at bat plays out. Runner on first, nobody out here in the top of the 8th, a 5-0 Golden Eagle lead. Here's the pitch home. Ball 4 low and away. That's 3 walks drawn by Hinson in this contest. And that puts runners on first and second with no outs for a pinch hitter.
Pinch hitting for R. Roberts.
As Isaac Coffey's day at the plate at least has come to an end. And my guess would be likely his day overall, as we have a couple of guys warming up down there in the ORU bullpen. ORU's only used 3 pitchers in the series to this point, so wouldn't hurt to get a couple of guys to the series in this point, so it wouldn't hurt to get a couple of guys an inning here, because without a midweek game last Tuesday, presumably you could be looking at 10 days to 2 weeks of these guys not pitching at all. So Trevor McCutcheon will be the pinch hitter here. Coffey ends his day at the plate going 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. McCutcheon, a grand slam in Friday's game, comes to the plate with no outs and 2 on in front of him here. Wind right now actually shifting to blow in from right center field. That's a new wind direction. We can check that one off the bingo list as ball 1 misses in. Blake Hall waits on deck. McCutcheon comes into this game hitting .248 on the year. The 1-0 in there for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1. McCutcheon now up to 8 home runs on the year. He's slugging .533. He's now driven in 22 runs on the season. ORU now has 7 guys who have driven in 20 or more runs this season, and 2 that have driven in more than 30. Here's the 1-1. Above the letters on the fastball, 2-1 to McCutcheon. So McCutcheon pinch hit in Friday's game and went 1 for 1 with a grand slam and 2 walks. Did not hit in yesterday's contest. So he's had, it would be safe to say, a good series. Made the most of his opportunities. 2 on in front of him, no outs. Here's the 2-1. Backdoor curveball is in there for strike 2. And the count is even. McCutcheon adjusting his batting gloves. Wilson on second, Hinson on first in front of him. No one holding on Hinson, so that takes at least some of the pressure off of trying to find your footing over there on the first base area. Hill checks the runner at second, checks again, throws home. McCutcheon slices this one foul over the left side towards the Mastodon bullpen. Actually gets over towards the outdoor cages there. Keeps the count at 2-2. Four pitches unofficially now for Garrett Hill. Again, in just his 3rd inning of work, Miller threw more than 100 pitches in 5 innings on the mound today as the starter for the Mastodons. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch home. Spins up and away, ball 3, and the count's full. Tried the curveball, but it came out of Hill's hand early. Reset the defense behind him for you. Stewart behind the plate, up at first, Chapman at second. Yoho at short, Stoner at third. Brunson in left, Lang in center, and Young in right. The Mastodons come in to this contest having lost 14 in a row. ORU continues its upward trend. The Golden Eagles with 2 wins this weekend. 6 of the last 7. And 7 of the last 9. This one came inside, and I think it actually hit McCutcheon in the right arm. He's kind of dangling that arm as he heads down to first base. The hit by pitch loads the bases with no outs here in the
Next
8th
up,
inning.
number 7, Blake Hall.
So a single, a walk, and a hit by pitch have loaded the bags, and that'll bring up Blake Hall. We've got time called, and that might do it for Garrett Hill. No official call yet. Purdue Fort Wayne, I think, has 2 mound visits already in the contest, and now we will have a pitching change. All right, we will take a break. ORU leads at 5-0, has the bases loaded with no outs here in the top of the 8th. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.
Like creative visuals, Blue Line Signs can help produce logos, signs, banners, trade show displays, and even vehicle wraps that can help take advertising anywhere you go. Stop by their showroom today, located at the 8200 Trade Center on 41st Street, just east of Memorial, or visit BlueLineSigns.com for more info.
The constant energy, the tight turns and bustle of the city. Some survive it, others were made to conquer it.
Eight batters. Golden Eagles, after a hit batter and a walk in this inning, have drawn 11 free bases from Purdue Fort Wayne pitching in this game. Miller comes to the mound with the bases loaded and no outs here in the 8th inning. ORU leads at 5-0. Golden Eagles have had 20 guys reach in this contest between the 11 free bases and the 9 hits. And Blake Hall is 0 for 3 with a walk, so he's still looking for his first hit of the day. This would be a good time to get it. Give the Golden Eagles a little extra breathing room. Corners are in for Hall. And the first pitch comes inside and hits him. That'll bring in a run. It's 6-0 Golden Eagles on the... Corners are in for Hall. And the first pitch comes inside and hits him. That'll bring in a run. It's
Next up, number 28.
first run of the inning for Oral Roberts. 6-0 the score, and that'll bring up Andrew Pace, still with the bases loaded and no outs. So ORU got a 25-2 run rule victory on Friday, 10-0 run rule in 8 yesterday. Currently leading 6-0 here in the 8th inning today. Bases loaded in front of Andrew Pace. First pitch home is a strike on the outside corner. Pace has 2 hits and a walk today. 1 run scored. Most recently, a double to left center field. Brunson laid out for it and got it to hit his glove, but couldn't keep it in his glove on that play. Miller delivers the 0-1. Pace loops it to left field, heading towards foul territory. Brunson giving chase, but he's not going to get there. And the count goes to 0-2. Pace had a great day yesterday as well. 4 for 5 in that contest. With that in mind, Pace up to 283 on the year. 43 hits on the season. That number trails only Hunter Wilson and Spencer Henson. He's added a couple more today. 0-2 count, no outs, bases still loaded. Now a 6-0 game as ORU has scored in 3 consecutive innings. That one missed outside, had some goofy action out of the hand of Miller. Miller has a little bit of a unique delivery, kind of herky-jerky. And it can be quite deceptive, although there it ended up in that ball resulting in staying just outside. 1-2 count now. Pace calmly stands in the left-handed batter's box. Miller working from the stretch, comes set. Without checking a runner, delivers home. That one's in the dirt. Good block from Stewart behind the plate. That one hit well out in front of home plate. The count evens at 2-2. The Golden Eagles, after the bus ride home, will probably take a few finals for the most part and then host Oklahoma State on Tuesday. That'll actually be the first meeting between the two teams this year. The other two were supposed to be in Stillwater and both got rained out. There is weather expected in the evening on Tuesday as well, so we'll keep you updated on that. Here's a ground ball back at the middle, charging at the shortstop. Yoho scoops it up, throws to first. He gets paced by a step, but Henson scores on the play, and it's 7-0 Oral Roberts. One down and runners on second and third. RBI ground out there for Andrew Pace.
Hunter Swift.
His first run driven in the game. 1 out, 2 on for Hunter Swift. Swift 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Both runners in front of him in scoring position. So the traditional double play out of effect here. Slider drops low, and Swift takes ball 1. Swift went 3 for 5 yesterday with an RBI and a run scored. 2 for 4 on Friday, so he's had a really good series. Waiting for the 1-0. Miller delivers it, missed outside. Count goes to 2-0. Dwayne Miller is from Edgerton, Ohio. The starter today, Justin Miller, is from Roanoke, Indiana. And there's a third Miller, Jarrett Miller, from Plymouth, Ohio. They're all pitchers, but they all come from vastly different areas. 2-0 count. Just outside, ball 3. Riley Kaiser waits on deck. Approaching 3 o'clock Eastern time, 2 o'clock Central time on this Sunday. Wind blowing in from center field. The 3-0 pitch on its way, and that one's in there. Strike 1 as Miller tries to work his way back into the count here. It's Hall on second, McCutcheon on third. Both of those guys hit by pitches in this inning. Ball 4 misses outside, and Swift walks down to first. The bases are loaded again, this time for Riley Kaiser.
Next batter, number 26, Riley Kaiser.
Matt Gaskins, yesterday's starter, goes out to get the bat from Hunter Swift, and Kaiser will step to the plate. 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored today. They are now through 6 innings in Omaha. South Dakota State still leads at 2-0. South Dakota State starter has just allowed 1 hit to the Mavericks in the game. 1 down, the base is loaded for Riley Kaiser. Miller delivers the first pitch. Kaiser lines it through the right side of the infield for a base hit. 1 run is already in. They are rounding Hall around third, and he will score. It's a 2 RBI single for Riley Kaiser, who now has double-digit RBI in the series. He's driven in 11 runs on the weekend, and ORU leads at 9-0 with 1 out and 2 on still here in the top of the 8th inning.
13, Anthony Martinez.
Kaiser is now above 500 on this weekend as well. 7 for 13. Here's Martinez, who tripled to the warning track and left in his last at-bat. Trying to follow that up with another big swing, and he missed it, strike 1. 3 RBI for him in the day. He drove in a career-high 4 in Friday's contest, going 4 for 5 in that game. It's been a big offensive weekend. 9 runs now in the game for the Golden Eagles. 4 runs here in the 8th, the most ORU has scored in a frame today. Here's the 0-1. Up and away. Count evens at 1-1. One count, still only 1 down. First 4 batters of the inning reached. Here in the 8th, the only out came on an RBI ground out from Andrew Pace. Ball 2 is low and away. So the only out in the inning was a run scoring out for the Golden Eagles. Not a bad way to go. Two-one count, 1 down. Runner still on first and second. Kaiser, the 2 RBI single a moment ago. Oh, this one came inside and hit Anthony Martinez. That's the 3rd hit batter of the inning. 2nd issued by Dwayne Miller, and that loads the bases to go back to the top of the order. And Jake McMurray, the 9th batter of the inning, coming to the plate for the Golden Eagles.
Number 4, Jake McMurray.
So McMurray looking for his 2nd hit of the day. He's 1 for 4 with a walk and a run scored. Scored after the single in the 6th. And he takes a fastball on the outside corner. This is the 3rd consecutive inning in which McMurray has hit. It's a 9-0 game. Bringing in the run from 3rd would potentially get us into run rule territory for a 3rd consecutive game. Purdue-Fort Wayne obviously would have a chance to respond in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Here's the 0-1. Low and away. Good block by Stewart behind the plate. Stewart has had, it's been a trying day for him. He's had to leap up and over and in the dirt for baseballs. And for the most part, he's done a pretty good job. Generally speaking, the ones that have gotten by him were literally out of his reach. So he's had a solid day behind the plate. 1-1 count, 1 out. Miller stares in. Now throws home. Ball 2 is low on the fastball. ORU got 2 in the 3rd inning. It remained 2-0 until the 6th, and when ORU tacked one on in the top of that inning. 2 more in the top of the 7th. Now 4 here in the top of the 8th and counting. This inning has gone single, walk, hit by pitch, RBI, hit by pitch, RBI ground out, walk, single for 2 RBI. Hit by pitch. Time called as McMurray steps out of the box and resets himself here. Miller preparing for the 2-1, delivers. It's in the dirt, ball 3. South Dakota State has the leadoff man on in the top of the 7th. Sounded like a lawnmower just went to its grave nearby. Not sure what that sound was exactly, but it's a 3-1 count to McMurray. The pitch home is low and away, ball 4, and that makes it 10-0 with still just 1 out and the bases loaded. The walk brings in a run as well. It's the first run driven in by McMurray today. Swift scores, Kaiser to third, Martinez to second. And that may be it for Dwayne Miller, who is going to, if he exits the game, will have on 2 different appearances, and he will exit in 2 appearances in this series, has recorded 2/3 of an inning and has allowed 4 earned runs. Is that right? No, 5 earned runs, and is on the hook for 3 more guys on base, depending on how the rest of this inning turns out.
36, Trevor Armstrong.
Trevor Armstrong will be the new pitcher. We'll tell you more about him when we come back in just a moment. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network. Oral Roberts leads Purdue Fort Wayne 10-0 here in the top of the 8th. Hunter Wilson will hit for the second time in the inning. He led off the inning with a single and came around to score. Only 1 out since then. The 8th inning here for the Golden Eagles has gone single, walk, hit by pitch, RBI, hit by pitch, RBI ground out, walk, 2 RBI single, hit by pitch, RBI walk. And now Wilson is back to the plate. Bases loaded in front of him, only 1 out, a 10-0 game in the top of the 8th. ORU has scored 5 in the inning. Wilson shoots one back to the netting for strike 1. The new pitcher is Trevor Armstrong. Armstrong has 6.83 ERA, 2-2 record in 17 appearances, including 2 starts. He's thrown 29 innings, allowing 29 runs, 22 of them earned. Allowed 48 hits, struck out 22 and walked 15. 375 average against him as Wilson takes a breaking ball for strike 2. Armstrong threw 2 1/3 innings of scoreless baseball on Friday. Allowed 2 hits, but struck out 3 and walked 2. 0-2 count, 1 down. Spencer Henson waits on deck. Wilson waving the bat out in front of home plate at knee height. He's going to call time. There he goes. Armstrong never acted like he wanted to throw a pitch there. Just looking in for the sign the whole time. Armstrong now comes set, delivers the 1-2. Ground ball hit back up the middle. It's scooped up at second. The flip to short is in time for 1. Turn to first is not in time. The run scores as Riley Kaiser crosses the plate. Hunter Wilson gets the RBI on the ground out. Well, on the ground out, and he reached on the fielder's choice.
14, Spencer Henson.
Kaiser scores. Martinez to third. And McMurray out on the 4-6 fielder's choice. And it brings up Spencer Henson with runners on the corners and 2 down. 11-0 the score. 10 hits in the game for the Golden Eagles compared to only 1 for Purdue Fort Wayne. And neither team has made an error in the game. First pitch home, low and away to Hinson, who's drawn 3 walks today, 1 for 2 otherwise with an RBI. He's scored twice. Omaha got out of a mild jam in the 7th inning. They head to the bottom of the 7th with South Dakota State leading the Mavs 2-0 in Omaha. 2 outs here, runners on the corners, and this ball is hit hard to left field. Brunson going back on it. He's looking up. That ball is out of here. A 3-run shot from Spencer Hinson, his first home run of the weekend, and the Golden Eagles lead it 14-0 here in the 8th inning. He put a similar swing on a ball on Friday that was dead into about a 25-mile-an-hour wind, and the wind knocked it down. Not so much that time. Spencer's second hit of the day brings home everybody on base. 2 outs, nobody on now for Trevor McCutcheon. ORU has now scored 9 runs in the inning. This is the 3rd inning in the series in which the Golden Eagles have put up a 9 spot. They've not managed to reach double figures yet. Trevor McCutcheon could change that. So the only 2 outs in the inning have both scored runs for the Golden Eagles. And ball 1 misses up and away to Trevor McCutcheon. Dwayne Miller has the book closed on him now. He pitches 1/3 of an inning, allowing 4 runs. Here's the 1-0 to McCutcheon. Dribble to the left side, charging at the shortstop. Yoho scoops it up, throws it across the diamond, and McCutcheon is out over at first base. Nice play by Yoho on the charge there. 6-3 putout ends the inning, but the Golden Eagles score 9 in the frame and lead it 14-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Back with more in just a moment. You're listening to Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.
At Bill
Couple of defensive changes for the Golden Eagles as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Oral Roberts leading 14-0. Purdue Fort Wayne needs 5 runs to keep the game alive. Alex Schmitz into the game at third base for Jake McMurray. Hunter Switch was already in the game. He's playing in right. And to the mound, A.J. Archambault. He is only the 5th pitcher of the weekend for the Golden Eagles. Archambault, a .465 ERA, record of 3-2 in 14 appearances, including 1 start. He delivers strike 1 to Trenton Stoner. 31 innings pitched for Archambault this year, allowing 29 hits, 18 runs, 16 of them earned, struck out 37 and walked 20. A .252 average against him, but that walk ratio has been going down more and more and more. Archambault, over the last 10 games, has made 4 appearances, throwing 11 2/3 innings with a .540 ERA over that time frame. Strike 2 is in there. It's a 1-2 count. And now this one fouled off over the right side. Stoner today 0 for 2, a fly out to right and a fly out to left. The 1-2. Curveball fouled off again. Isaac Coffey A career day today on the mound. New career high 7 innings pitched, a new career high 8 strikeouts dealt. And he allowed only 1 hit in the process and walked only 1. He had retired 15 in a row, which is a season high, and now make it 16 in a row as Archambault continues the trend. His first strikeout issue, 1 down as he retires Stoner. Make that 17 in a row, excuse me. So Coffey retired 16 straight. 1 out, nobody on for Robert Young III. Ball 1. Skips that in front of home plate. Young today, a double to left center and a strikeout. This ball hacked on and fouled back, out of play. Evens the count at 1-1. This ball lifted in the air, left side of the infield, just a looper hit toward shortstop. A little pop out to shortstop from Young, makes it 2 down and nobody on. Golden Eagles 1 out away from closing out a run rule sweep of the weekend. Aaron Chapman comes to the plate, 0 for 2 on the day, goes around on strike 1. That is now 18 consecutive batters retired by ORU pitching. A fastball is in there for strike 2. And Archambault looking to make it 19 in a row to end the game. 0-2 pitch on its way. Breaking ball, shot foul at the first base side. Heads up those of you in the ORU bullpen. A couple of guys are down there throwing. I think mostly just throwing bullpens before we go get on the bus here. Count goes to 0-2. Wolf and Rainwater are both throwing down there. 0-2 count, 2 outs. The pitch home. Grounded to the left side. Takes a hop on Schmitz, but he fields it cleanly. Throws across the diamond, and that'll do it. 19 consecutive retired by ORU pitching to end the frame. The Golden Eagles pour on 12 runs in the last 3 innings of the game as well. And ORU gets it done, 14-0. Run ruling each game in the 3-game series here in Fort Wayne this weekend. We will take a break. The Don Thornton Cadillac postgame show is coming up in a moment. This is Golden Eagle Baseball on the ORU Sports Network.